So when I started this channel about 4 videos ago, I did not intend whatsoever for this to be a Lord of the Rings news channel. No intention of that. But we've just been having an influx of news upon news upon news upon news about all these different projects coming out in relation to the Lord of the Rings. And we had something drop today that I really want to go over because it makes me very excited. I swear, well, unless something else comes out between today and this weekend, I do have another video planned that I wanted to get to about gatekeeping and why it's good. So look for that this weekend. But I actually want to get into this because this is actually great news in light of a lot of the creative decisions that have been made by Amazon. So I just want to go ahead and get into it. Let's see, pull this up here. From Variety, Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim anime feature set for April 2024 release by Warner Brothers. And there's a couple reasons why I'm quite excited about this, and we'll get into that. So basically, this whole feature is set 2 centuries before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. The War of the Rohirrim will explore the exploits of Helm Hammerhand, the King of Rohan, and the creation of Helm's Deep, which is a great place to go, especially for a single feature-length film. And I actually want to get into that later in the video. So here we have Kenji Kamiyama of the series Blade Runner Black Locust and Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and I believe he also had a hand in Akira as well, which I've heard is very good, is directing with Blade Runner Black Locust, producer Joseph Cho, I believe is how you say that, through his anime studio Sola Entertainment, which has been working on this film since it was announced in June 2021. Now, I'm not super familiar with either of these gentlemen, but there is one good thing I can say about this, and that it's coming out of, I believe, oh man, I don't know. It's an Asian studio, probably Japan, I would assume. I've been watching, I've seen a few things produced in Korea and a lot of animes produced in Japan. And there's one thing that sticks out to me about these Asian productions is that they don't fall into the same traps that American production companies seem to fall into, and the writers and all that stuff. And by that, I mean all of these things that if you watched my video about the Vanity Fair article on the Amazon Lord of the Rings series, there's a lot of seemingly boxes that need to be checked in order for a film or series production to be deemed acceptable by today's Western society, that being DIE, or diversity, diversity, inclusion, and equity. Casting people of color, so to speak, if that's what they're allowed to be called now, in roles simply for that box to be checked, tokenizing them, as you will. Masculinizing females, emasculating males, it's a whole thing that American media especially has fallen prey to. So that's a reason why I'm glad that this is all being produced out of Japan, because it seems to me like hopefully, God willing, hopefully they won't fall into the same traps that these production companies are. Now, there is also some more good news. This is, had it just been this, I wouldn't have made this video, but there are a couple of other pieces that I want to enlighten you on that have been released today. So Philippa Boyens, who was one of the trifecta of the production of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy with Peter Jackson, that being Peter Jackson, Philippa Boyens, and oh my God, why can't I think of it? Fran Walsh. Sorry about that. Anyway, she's one of the 3, and she is involved. Now, she's got her daughter, Phoebe Gittins, also writing it, and I'm not sure what she's credited with, but we'll see. It maybe just a nepotism thing, and it's just, hey, you know, it'd be cool if we worked on this thing together. So, but you know, that being said, I think that's good that she's involved. Now, they're let's see, they're partnering with Artie Papagiorgio and penning a screenplay based on the script from Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews. I don't know who this Artie Papagiorgio is, but let's see. Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews are both credited for Netflix's The Dark Crystal, Age of Revolution, I think it's called. The Dark Crystal. I remember that. I watched that, and that was a phenomenal show. I loved that show. Let's see. The creative team includes Richard Taylor, who won Oscars for makeup and visual effects for The Lord of the Rings. I'm not exactly sure what all he'll be taking care of in an anime. Probably going over supervising some of the special effects and stuff. Alan Lee, who won an Oscar for art direction, and I've actually got some of the portfolio for these guys pulled up. Alan Lee, look at this. Great stuff. All great stuff. I mean, this is all just phenomenal artwork, and I am so happy that he is involved. And, let's see, wrong one. And John Howen, I've actually got some of his portfolio pulled up as well. I mean, these guys are the real deal. And I'm elated that they are involved in this. This means that whatever we get, I assume that the writing is going to be faithful to the works that Tolkien had put forth. Not only that, but the art is going to be just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, what more is there to say about that? It's fantastic. So anyway, we don't have a voice cast just yet. And, you know, they go on to say, you know, they're happy to be working with each other, all that good stuff. Now, it's also totally separate from the Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings. Thank God. So, I'm very happy about that. So, at least that way, even if the Amazon TV series is phenomenal, I'm just glad that we don't have to worry about them having to go together, because if it is shit like I'm thinking it's going to be, then we at least have this to look forward to, albeit over 2 years from now. But from what I hear, according to a live stream that was put forth by Nerd of the Rings, which if you haven't checked out his channel, you definitely should if you want to learn more about the lore surrounding Tolkien's works. Anyway, I'm under the understanding that they are fast-tracking this, so we shall see how that goes. Now, I really want to go over just how perfect this story is for an adaptation for a single screenplay. Oh, you know what? Actually, before I do that, they released this artwork here, and I have a window pulled up for that. Just a quick glimpse of what we can expect. Obviously, there's the wild men, the Dunlendings, and there's a Mumakil over here, a Mumak. Now, I'm not sure if the Haradrim took part in this war, but I assume they'll probably go over that in the show. There's a little bit, or in the movie rather. There's a little bit of time in there that. Anyway, we'll kind of go over that, because there is something else that I want to go over, and that is being why this story is so perfect for screen adaptation in film form. So, spoiler alert, I will be spoiling this story of a 60-year-old book. found in the appendices. Specifically, appendices A of The Return of the King. You can find this story, and it's pretty brief. There's not really a whole lot of detail, but basically, I'll give it to you in short terms. So, Helm Hammerhand at the time is the king of Rohan. Meanwhile, there is a Dunlending by the name of Freka, who claims to have king's blood. However, he grows proud. He's got all this land on either sides of the Adorn River, I believe it's called. And the king, Helm, as he was called at the time, would summon councils, and Freka would just decide, I'll come when I feel like it. He wouldn't show up all the time. Well, one day, Helm calls a council, and Freka decides he's going to go with a host of men. Freka approaches the king and says, hey, my son Wolf needs a wife, and your daughter looks pretty good. Helm looks at him and basically calls him fat, dismisses him, says, we got better things to talk about right now. I'll talk to you afterward. So they get done with their council. Helm takes Freka aside. And there's actually a quote here that is so badass, I have to read it verbatim. He goes up, grabs him by the shoulder, and looks him in the eye and says, the king does not permit brawls in his house, but men are freer outside. And he forced Freka to walk outside. They have words back and forth, and Helm proceeds to punch him so hard that he fucking dies. He is dead. So, hence the name Helm Hammerhand. So, 4 years pass. Wolf is named king of the lands that Freka had once ruled over. And they spend 4 years gathering allies. Meanwhile, the long winter hits, and it's a winter that lasts from November to March, which if you live in Missouri, that's par for the course. But I guess here it is uncharacteristically long. Anyway, Wolf takes his newly found army and proceeds to attack Edoras, driving the Rohirrim out and sending them to Helm's Deep, and they then proceed to besiege Helm's Deep. Over the course of the winter, the food stores run out. Helm's sons actually go out and they try to beat back the Dunlending forces and are, lost in a snowstorm. They're never seen again. Helm grows so angry and grieved that he goes out alone into the winter, clad in all white, and he proceeds to kill entire encampments of these Dunlendings. Barehanded. I love the visual aspect of that. If you can just see it in your mind's eye, the visual aspect of Helm Hammerhand venturing forth into a blizzard, clad all in white, so he blends in with the snow and proceeds to just take out all of these Dunlendings one by one. One day, Helm goes out, and he doesn't return. The people at Helm's Deep hear his horn blow, as is a custom. Anytime he would wipe out a encampment of Dunlendings, he would blow his horn, which would send further Dunlendings fleeing in terror because they knew what was going on. One day, they hear his horn blow, but he doesn't return. The next morning, the sun begins to shine, which is a sign of the breaking of this winter, and they see out front of Helm's Deep, standing, knees unbent, Helm Hammerhand, dead and frozen solid. It's a great story. It really is a great story. And it's concise, it's to the point, and it would fit perfectly in a 2-hour screenplay. Now, here's the kicker. I'm thinking after credits, mid-credit scene, you see, and this is part of the lore, you see Isengard being liberated from the Dunlendings. Saruman comes bearing gifts and then takes and is gifted stewardship of Isengard. And we all know what happens after after he takes control of Isengard. So anyway, that is it. I absolutely love this whole aspect of I love the whole idea of this. I mean, it's fantastic, and I can't wait for it. And I just really wanted to make this video to kind of let anybody know who hasn't heard anything about it, to kind of hype them up, get them excited for it, and let you know that not all is lost when it comes to Tolkien film properties. So, yep, that's all I got for you. So, if you stuck with me this long, I really appreciate it. You all have a good day. Go pick up something heavy.